They called her Kiera like she was nothing. They told her to leave the bar or something bad would happen. They thought she was weak, alone, and easy to scare. But the moment a tattooed biker raised his hand to slap her cheeks, what happened next left every man in that room begging for mercy. "Yo, I told you this ain't your kind of place," the man growled, his voice thick with whiskey and contempt. His name, or at least the name sewn on his leather vest, Jax the Gavel Riley. He was a broad-shouldered man with shaved sides, a beard like a wire brush, and 2 black stripes tattooed around his forearm. Around him, 7 other men sat on stools, all wearing the same black vests with skull patches and iron crosses. Their club name, the Widowmakers, curved across their backs in white thread. This was their bar, their turf, and they made sure everyone knew it. And at the bar, gripping a plain glass of club soda, stood a young black woman named Kiera Thorne. Her jeans were light blue, snug, and faded at the seams. Her white tank top showed the defined arms of someone who worked hard, but stayed quiet about it. Her hair was pulled back into a sleek ponytail. She stood like she was ready for anything, but pretending she wasn't. Jax slammed his palm on the bar. "I said," he barked, "this ain't for you. Go drink somewhere else. Or better yet, clean the floors like you belong." The men behind him chuckled, low and mean. Kiera's eyes flicked to the mirror behind the bottles. Her face was calm, almost blank. No fear, no tremble. She'd been through worse. Her voice, when it came, was soft. "I'm just having a drink." In another life, in a world these men didn't know, Kiera Thorne was Staff Sergeant Kiera Thorne, U.S. Army National Guard, decorated twice in Afghanistan for close-quarters combat and battlefield rescue under fire. But tonight, she wore no uniform, no medals, no rank. She looked like a normal woman stopping for a drink after a long day at work. She had been on her way back from visiting her younger brother at college in Arkansas, and she'd stopped at this roadside bar in the Montana/Idaho borderlands, the Last Stop Saloon, to stretch her legs. She didn't know this was the Widowmaker's nest. She just wanted a quiet drink, but trouble had found her, as it so often did. Another biker, Silas, tall and wiry with a teardrop tattoo under one eye, leaned closer. "Come on, Jax. She's just lost," he smirked. "Maybe she needs directions to the nearest gas station or the kitchen." Laughter erupted around the bar. Jax grinned, showing a silver tooth. "Or the back door." A bartender, an older man named Clive with a permanent hunch, kept wiping glasses, eyes fixed on the counter. No help there. The other patrons at the far end of the bar stared at their drinks, silent. Nobody wanted to get involved. Kiera's grip tightened on her glass. She kept her eyes down. Her instructors had taught her restraint as a weapon. Stay calm until you strike. Jax moved closer, invading her space. The smell of stale beer and cigarette smoke pressed in. "You're making everyone uncomfortable," he said. "Why don't you smile? Show some respect." Kiera said nothing. Her eyes stayed level, unblinking. "Hey!" Jax barked, snapping his fingers at her face like she was a dog. "I'm talking to you." The room seemed to shrink. Leather creaked as the bikers shifted on their stools. Silas blocked the exit with his arm. 2 others, Tanner and Boone, edged closer, their boots echoing on the wooden floor. Jax leaned over the bar, his breath hot on her cheek. "What's the matter? Cat got your tongue. Or maybe you don't speak English." Laughter again, cruel and sharp. Kiera finally spoke, voice like ice. "Move your hand." Jax blinked. "What?" "Move your hand." The laughter faltered, unsure. Jax smirked. "Or what? You gonna call your boyfriend?" "Sweetheart, out here we are the law." He raised his hand like he was about to brush her cheek or slap it. Kiera's world slowed. She caught his wrist midair, fingers locking around tendons and bone. Jax's eyes went wide, his smirk collapsing. Before he could speak, she twisted. The sound of cartilage shifting echoed across the bar. He gasped. In one smooth motion, she slammed his wrist onto the edge of the bar, pinning it. A glass shattered somewhere. Jax howled, his knees buckling. "Sit," she said. He did. Or rather, she forced him down, his back slamming into the bar stool. "What they?" Silas lunged forward, but Kiera's foot shot out, hooking his ankle. He crashed forward, hitting the floor face first. Tanner tried next, swinging a clumsy punch. Kiera ducked, grabbed his elbow, and drove it down onto the counter with a crack. Tanner screamed, clutching his arm. The rest of the Widowmakers froze, the swagger draining from their faces. In less than 5 seconds, their leader was on the stool wheezing, 2 others on the floor groaning. Kiera stood tall, shoulders squared. Her voice was calm, measured. "Anybody else?" The bar was silent except for the sound of Jack's whimpering. A man at the far end who'd been watching quietly, a logger named Dusty Baker, fumbled his phone out and started filming. The red light blinked. "Lady," he whispered under his breath, "you're something else." Jax gritted his teeth, glaring at her. You're dead," he spat. "You don't know who we are." Kiera leaned in close, voice so soft only he could hear. "And you don't know who I am." She let go of his wrist and he yanked it back like it was on fire. "Staff Sergeant Kiera Thorne," she said clearly now for everyone to hear. "United States Army National Guard. You just tried to hit the wrong woman." Murmurs rippled through the bar. The bartender finally looked up, eyes wide. The rest of the Widowmakers stared. For the first time, their tattoos and patches felt like nothing. Kiera grabbed a bar napkin, wiped her hands like she'd spilled something sticky. Then she turned back to her glass and calmly asked the bartender, "Another club soda, please." Clive swallowed hard and poured. The Iron Reapers huddled, whispering, trying to decide whether to bolt or fight. As Kiera sipped her drink, her eyes flicked to the door. She knew what came next. Retaliation, backup, maybe weapons. Outside, motorcycle engines roared in the distance. More Widowmakers coming. The front door slammed open. Cold night air rushed in. 3 more men in black vests stepped in. Their leader, a stockier man named Silas Sledgevance, wore his patch like a badge. He scanned the room, eyes narrowing at the sight of Jax cradling his wrist and Silas on his knees. "What the hell happened?" Sledge barked. Kiera raised her voice for the first time. "United States Army National Guard. Step back." The words cracked the air like a gunshot. Sledge hesitated. His eyes flicked to the crowd of bystanders now filming. The phone streaming live. He realized too late that the world was watching. He spat on the floor. "Marine or not," he snarled, "this is our house." Kiera's face remained calm. "Then clean your own mess." Sledge charged. Kiera moved before he could close the gap. She sidestepped, hooked his arm, and used his momentum to slam him face first into the bar. The sound of wood cracking echoed like thunder. The bar erupted in chaos. She moved like a storm, silent and precise. By the time the last man fell, the room was littered with groaning bikers. Kiera stood in the middle, breathing steady. Her white tank top was unwrinkled, her ponytail still neat. Sledge staggered to his knees, blood on his lip. "This is who you are. The world should see it," she said quietly. "You think your patches make you powerful. All you are is noise. And tonight, everybody hears it." Police sirens wailed faintly in the distance. Kiera gave a small nod to the trucker, Dusty Baker. "Next time," she said, "help somebody before it gets this far." As she waited for the police to arrive, she picked up her jacket. An officer approached her. "Ma'am, are you okay?" She nodded. "I'm fine." He looked at the bikers moaning on the floor. "What happened here?" She walked toward the door, her boots crunching on glass. "They learned the hard way," she said softly. "That respect isn't a request, it's a boundary." She stepped into the night.